Hello there and welcome back to the channel. My name is Emmy and I like meal planning, and maybe you do too because you're here watching me today. By the way, a big thank you to everyone who's recently joined the channel. I'm so excited that each and every one of you are here, liking, subscribing and commenting. It means the world to me, so thank you. Today we are going to talk about meal planning tools, and I have a completely free downloadable template that you can check out in the description box below, which is basically your guide to meal planning, whether you already do it and want to finesse it, or you've never done it before and you want a guide of how to start. So download that below if you would like some help with that. But there are other tools in addition to the template itself that we need to meal plan, and that is containers. We need something to put the stuff in that we are meal planning and preparing for the week. So without further ado, we're going to head up to my kitchen and have a look at some of my cupboards, drawers and things like that. And I'm going to show you the things that I use each and every week to make meal planning easy. All right, let's dive in. Alright, so welcome to my kitchen. We are going to look first at containers. Now, if you are meal planning or meal prepping, you need somewhere to put the food that you've made. It's pretty simple. I'm putting it in the pot itself in the fridge with the lid on. Yeah, you could do that if you wanted to. I prefer using containers. And by the way, I store my containers in stacks of the different types of containers, and I put the lids in the one at the top of the stack. There are many schools of thoughts as to how to organize your Tupperware or your container drawer. It's totally up to you what works for you. I find that this works really well. It takes less room than storing each container with the lid on. It's still easy to find the lid that goes with which container. And look, whatever works for you, I just know that I get really annoyed if I'm trying to put stuff away and I can't find the stuff I'm trying to use. So this works for me. Let me know in the comments if this is something that you've tried. I did want to jump in with a quick caveat here. These are just the tools that I have and use. You do not need to use all these things in order to get meal planning. In fact, it's better to start really small and just gradually upgrade. You can use really basic things to store your food in. You can use Ziploc bags. They're usually super cheap, or a brand thereof, from your local supermarket for a couple of dollars. You can get those plastic takeaway containers that are really inexpensive. You can even get them for free, usually with your takeaway food, or you can buy them for a couple of bucks in your local supermarket or dollar store. The other thing that you can do is when you've had pasta or anything like that and you have a glass jar left over, rather than throwing that in recycling, keep it if it's of a suitable size so that you can maybe put some soup or other things in it in your fridge or in your freezer. So don't think that you need all these things to get started. You really don't. Starting small and starting to edge into meal planning will be the thing that helps you save money and time during the week. So when it comes to food containers, I have a small category, a medium category, and a very large category, and we'll go through each of the ones very quickly together today. But the main thing is I have a few glass containers. Most of my containers are plastic. I do not heat my plastic containers in the microwave. They're only for storing the items in. If I go to work or something like that, I will move my soup or my thing to a plate and heat that up in the microwave, and we do the same thing at home. It's not great with microplastics and things like that to heat up containers over and over again in the microwave. So if you can avoid that, I would highly recommend that you do. So let's start with the small category. I've got two different types of tubs here. One is 400 ml from this brand, which you can find in pretty much any supermarket. And this is 500 ml, and this is a Decor brand. Again, you can find it in most supermarkets in Australia. These are really good for like that half an onion, a little bit of veg, maybe a small serve of soup, things like that you just want to save so that you don't throw it away. Typically people will throw away leftover food that is in the smaller serve category, but sometimes if you're just looking for a quick snack and there's like 5 mouthfuls of pasta, it's actually okay to save that in the fridge and not throw it away. At least that's how I like to do it, because I really hate throwing away food. The next category is our medium-sized containers, and this is by far the most popular one in my household because this is the size that serves like a lunch-sized portion for myself and or my husband. So these ones here are actually from IKEA. It's the IKEA, I think they have a glass series called the 365 series. I don't believe this is that. but this is 0.75 liters, so not quite a liter. This is really great for pie, slices, quiches. I use this for salads. I use it for all sorts of things. This is fully plastic, but it's got a snap lid, so it stays fresh, which I really like. So I've got probably 3 or 4 of these ones. And you've seen these many times in my channel. I don't know how big they are. They would probably be similar, yeah, under a liter anyways. These here are glass. They're from Kmart here in Australia, and they have this little thing in the lid that you can open to let the food cool down or to vent it. This is the only container I have that I will heat up in the microwave. So if I've got soup or something with me to work, I'll just take the lid off and heat it up in the glass container. This also freezes really well, but do remember, if you freeze things in any kind of bag or container, liquid expands when it freezes. So make sure you leave a little bit of room on top in your soup or whatever serve you have so that it doesn't explode in your freezer, because I bet you wouldn't like that. The next type of containers that I have in the medium category is this sort of, these are a liter, I believe. Yeah, these are both a liter. So this is, again, very common brand that you find in the supermarkets. This has got that kind of seal on it, which again is really good, especially for something with a dressing or a sauce. This one here is, again, the larger version of the Decor brand. And look, I think both of these are really great. I use them all the time, again, for salads, leftover pasta sauce, things like that. They stack really well as well. I've got 3 of these ones, and I think I've got 4 of these ones. So most of my container collection, by the way, I've built up over time. So if you're starting out and you go to the store and you see that these are really expensive, by the way, I usually get these on sale. But if you go to the store and find that they're really expensive, keep your eyes out for a sale or buy 1 or 2 to get you started. Thinking about it, like if you're gonna meal prep for say 3 days in advance, you really only need 3 containers to achieve that. So don't go overboard if you don't want to. But again, all of these are really inexpensive. I think these are $3 or $4 each at Kmart when I bought them. And these, this brand can be a bit more expensive, I find, but I know that I bought these on sale not long ago. So that takes care of the majority. And if you're only starting out, I would say buying a range of mid-sized containers can get you really, really far to get you started with your meal planning and your meal prepping. I have a couple of other ones that are a little bit bigger. So I've got this one here, which is 1.75 liters. This is really good for soups. I use this as well for my quinoa salad that I've made quite a few times here on the channel. So this one's really good. I've only got 1 of them. And I think this one is actually, I bought it in an op shop for like $2, and they cost a lot more than that in the supermarket. So again, if you are open to having a look in secondhand shops, you can usually get them for a lot cheaper. Obviously just check that they're in good condition. This still, I remember when I bought this, it still had the tag on the bottom, like the new tag, so it was never used, which, good bargain. Then I have 2 of this. This one is ginormous. This one's 5 liters. It's very, very rare that I use this one, but it's good for like if you're bringing dessert or something bigger. Sometimes actually when I bring dessert, I turn it sort of upside down. So I make the dessert in the lid, on the lid, and then I put the cover over it. You can obviously get like dedicated cupcake trays, but I'm not that into cupcakes, so that's fine. I also have this container here, which currently has cheese in it, and I think this one is 2.2 liters. Now I like this because this easily fits a 1 kilo cheese block from Aldi, Coles, etc. And that's how you can buy much better per kilo or per 100 gram cost. But you can see it's getting smaller, this cheese. So when my cheese gets to about 1/3 of the size of the 1 kilo block, I will take a smaller container and transfer my cheese block from the big one into the small one, so it takes less room in my fridge. By the way, my hands are clean, otherwise I wouldn't touch the cheese because you don't want it to get moldy. But now here we go. I can put this one away. And this is my handy little trick to know it's time to put cheese on the shopping list for next time, because now I know that I have less than 1/3 of a cheese block left in my fridge, and then this just goes into the dishwasher or into the next time we're doing dishes. So I personally don't have a whole lot of those really ginormous containers because the main reason for me that we meal plan is to have portion-sized options, which these sort of smaller sizes are. I'm really passionate about sustainability and reducing my footprint, and I do think that reducing your food waste by meal planning and meal prepping is a really great way to do that. And the second way is to use reusable items. So the containers I showed you are all reusable items, and if you don't use them and heat them in the microwave, not only does it have health benefits, but it's also really good because the container itself lasts much longer and doesn't get yucky and, you know, looks all worn. So it's a good thing to do, and a good 80+% of the time when I meal prep, I use containers. But there are times when bags and other things are more practical. And usually I will have 1 to 2 sizes of sort of Ziploc bags or resealable bags. Sometimes, you know, the home brand, these are from Coles. Sometimes the home brand is just a lot cheaper than the Ziploc bags. Obviously just make sure though that you get the kind that are for the use or the purpose that you want. So these ones here I used in my freezer meal prep. I will link that video below if you haven't seen it. But these are freezer safe. They're also microwave safe. I don't think I would microwave them, but apparently you can. These are the larger sizes, but you can obviously get the one that's more like a sandwich baggy size. These are good to have, and by the way, usually, unless I've had meat in them, I will wash these and dry them inside out and use them again. So just if you've had some lettuce or something that's not particularly sensitive, I reuse these all the time. Just wash them in some warm soapy water and let them dry, and you can use them again. These are not just for single use. In that same vein, I have a couple of bags that I use that are bought from various sites. I will try to find these or similar ones and link them below. But these here are basically 2 different kinds of, I guess, reusable Ziploc bags. This one here is from Eco Pocket. And I have this in a couple of different sizes. I have 2 that are this small size, kind of a sandwich bag size. And you can freeze things in these. So these are freezer friendly, you can wash them. Obviously hand wash these, don't throw them in your dishwasher. But these are really good for like some vegetables. At the moment I've got one in my fridge with Parmesan cheese in it, things like that. I also have this one. This was one of the first of these kind I bought. They're called Ever Eco. And this is a bit of a different one. I find this design a little bit more annoying, but it's a good sturdy bag. You can definitely freeze things in this one. And you basically just use this sort of, you know, seal item, and then you just pull it shut and it seals really beautifully. I've actually got some meat in one of these in my freezer at the moment. So both of these work really well. I find this little thing a bit annoying sometimes, but I have 2 of each of these, and I have a larger size of this one as well that I use all the time. Again, bags can be really good depending what you are doing, but these are easy to wash and use again as well. I also like getting really creative with using other types of bags. So for example, when you get frozen berries in the supermarket, whether you go to Aldi or somewhere else, you get these sturdier bags. I don't have any on hand at the moment, but another favorite bag of mine to reuse is these bags here. So this is just we normally buy I think it's from Coles or Woolies or something, but we use these instead of pizza bases because my husband's gluten-free. But these are really great and really sturdy, and they are Ziploc bags. So quite often if I'm going to freeze bread or something like that, I'll just freeze them in these. So after we've used them, I wash them out, let them dry on my counter so that they're dry and clean. And then I just keep a couple of these, give them a second life. I love using things again if I can. So we have pizza about once a month or so we build up a little stash of these usually. But this is a great way as well to use what you already have. Now, some bags that you get with your food won't be good enough, but especially frozen berry bags and this sort of bread bags I've found work really well to use again. In the same vein as plastic bags are things to seal plastic bags with. I have this little bag in with where my plastic bags live, and I have a few different types of clips. Most of these are from IKEA, but you know, you can use a good old clothes peg as well, if you have some of those on hand. But these are really good if you have a bag of frozen vegetables, a bag of bread, something like that. These can be really helpful to just kind of clip and seal shut to keep the bag fresh. Same goes for salads and things like that. I also do keep a couple of like rubber bands in here. I rarely use rubber bands, but sometimes it can be useful to do that if you are sealing up a bag of bread or something like that as well. But having a few of these on hand helps keep your things fresh much longer, and it can be really good to have a little stack of those. They don't cost very much. You can get them from IKEA, from your supermarket. I've seen them in like dollar store examples as well. So wherever near you, you can find that kind of stuff. It is really, really, and these are so much better than those little annoying things that bread bags come with. They just fall off and break pretty much straight away. Now there are times when single-use foil or sheet pan liners and things like that can be really useful. The thing that I use the most in my house is baking paper. So baking paper I will use for like oven roasted vegetables and things like that. And I typically use this more than once, depending if the thing that I've cooked is greasy or making a mess. For example, when I make my oven roasted tofu, that doesn't really get very saucy. So usually you can reuse the baking paper at least more than once. But if you're looking for another alternative, I've also tried these silicone tray liners from Ever Eco. I'll see if I can find them or a similar thing, but this is a pack of 2, and you can use them on your sheet pan in the oven, and then you simply just wash them. I have found these pretty good, but they are a little bit hard to get clean. So there's always, I find, like a slight sheen of oil on them, even if I've washed them in hot soapy water, etc. I do like using these where I can, because I much prefer using this and washing them and using them again rather than throwing things in the bin. If you have a good option, because I'm okay with these, but I'm not loving them. If you have a great option of something like this that you use in your kitchen, let me know in the comments below. I'm really looking for a great alternative. I will not be throwing these away. I will keep using them, but I would love to hear if you have a better one. And the final thing that I think is really useful to have for meal prepping and meal planning is foil and cling wrap. Cling wrap I use extremely rarely. This roll, it must be like 3 years old, maybe more. This is 60 meters. I've had this for a really, really, really long time, and it's not even half used. I only use this in the rare occasion that I've done something in a larger tray and I'm not going to divide it into individual portions and I need to put it in the fridge. Then I will sometimes, but very rarely, use this. So it'll be in my drawer for a very long time, I imagine. And with foil, similar thing. It's probably more if we're doing like barbecue stuff. So for example, in our caravan, foil is a lot more useful because we're often out at campfires and things like that. I will every now and then use aluminium foil, but again, this container would be, this is 30 meters. And both of these, I think I've had for way more than 3 years, and there's still loads left in both of them. These can be really useful though for example, when I bake my bread, I'll find a link below to the bread recipe I often make, but one of the recipes actually requires that you cover the bread while you bake it. And I don't have a second loaf pan, bread loaf pan. So what I do is I cover it with foil for the first bit when I cook it, and then I take the foil off so it can brown. So there are times when this sort of stuff is really helpful, especially if you don't have a lid for something. One thing that I almost always have in my cupboard is glass jars of some description, but because my wonderful mother-in-law is making a lot of jam at the moment, I've donated a lot of my glass jars to her. But I still wanted to talk about it because glass jars can be really, really good for storing things like dressing, sauce, and stuff like that. So there are 3 kind of commonly found jar sizes in my house. We've got the small one, which is like your mustard. This is the Aldi brand of mustard. This is great for shaking up, like, you know, again, clean it, run it in the dishwasher, whatever you need to do. And then you can use this in time and time again for dressings. I often use this for my homemade salad dressing, which I will link below for you. This size is really great. So keeping one of these on hand is really awesome. And then we have the larger sizes. So this is just, you know, your normal pasta sauce size. I think this is 400 mil or something, sorry, 500 grams, and this is 350 grams. So these sizes, again, you can use them for so many things. You can make salads in jars. You can use jars, I mean, it came with sauce in it, so you can store sauce in it. So I find that these sort of things are really, really good to just help make sure that you are storing things, and also you're giving these items a second life and not sending them to recycling. So that's a win for me. You've already paid for the container, you might as well use the container again. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed having a little tour of my kitchen and my drawers. And if you have any particular tools that you love to use, there are certain tubs or certain brands that you really love, please let me know in the description box below. I'm always keen to hear and learn from other people what they use so we can help each other grow and meal plan more. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I look forward to see you next week.